All right, Sandra, let's bring in Outnumbered co-host Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, great to see you, and thank you for sticking around for us. Appreciate it.
Good to see you, John.
So let's rewind the clock to yesterday. Jen Psaki asked if she would denounce the leak of that draft report, or the draft opinion, rather, from the Supreme Court. Here's how that exchange went.
Does the White House explicitly condemn this leak, or has seeing this draft been seen as welcome by some here?
I don't think we have a particular view on that, other than to say that we certainly note the unprecedented nature of it.
I don't think we have a particular view on that when she was asked if she would denounce it. Should we interpret the lack of denunciation as tacit support?
Yes, indeed. As you know, John, having been in that room asking questions yourself, I learned this. Sometimes you learn it the hard way. If you don't give a specific answer to a question, sometimes even if you say, it's a hypothetical, I'm not going to answer that, it leaves room for television networks, newspaper reporters to inject a non-denial in there. And this is indeed tacit approval of this. She could have very easily said what Mark Warner said, what Dick Durbin said, what other Democrats have said. We don't like the leak. First time in modern history of the Supreme Court. Nevertheless, we don't like Roe versus Wade being overturned, and we hope that's not the case. She could have said that, but she didn't.
Right. When you take a look at this in toto, you've got the White House talking about not so much the leak as the substance of the opinion, whereas the leak is a significant part of this. And then you've got the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, saying we fully support a woman's right to choose, without commenting on the threats that have been leveled against these Supreme Court justices.
Yes, and it begs the question, if you don't have a particular view of the leak, the inevitable question today should be, well, do you have a particular view of these calls by left-wing activists to march to the homes of justices, 6 justices, 3 of which are in Virginia, which, as Mark Hemingway points out, it's illegal to protest in front of a private home in Virginia. What is your view of that? Because if you are not going to actively denounce the leak, then you must in some way provide some protection for these Supreme Court justices, do something, at least a verbal denunciation of this walk. And I think another follow-up today should be, we remember when Kyrsten Sinema was chased into a bathroom, and the President of the United States, Joe Biden, said it's, quote, part of the process. Is marching to homes of Supreme Court justices now just another part of the process?
We both mentioned Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, who was on this program just a little while ago. I asked him about the White House lack of denunciation of this leak, and he came out full-throated in condemning this leak. Let's rewind the tape and show you what he said just a minute ago.
I completely condemn the leak, and whoever leaked it, should be prosecuted. I don't have the foggiest idea who did it. Whoever did it ought to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But let's not jump to the conclusion, because I've seen all these theories. And again, this is the kind of, I think, cheapening of America where rules, morals, mores are being undermined on a constant basis.
So there was no room for ambiguity there. He came right out and denounced it. Why can't the White House do the same thing?
Yeah, it's a fair question. Why can't they? Especially at a time where the court, this venerable institution that has been airtight, as it may be, has had quite a rough term. Not just the leak of a draft opinion, unprecedented in nature. Even Jen Psaki noted that. The early leak of Justice Breyer's retirement, I don't know if it came from the White House. I don't know if it came from the Supreme Court, but there definitely was a leak there. They should come out and say something. Not only that, Jen Psaki was asked twice yesterday about whether the White House would accept the legitimacy of the Supreme Court opinion, whatever it may be. And there was a dodge there, and there was I won't engage in hypotheticals. Yeah. So not accepting the legitimacy of the opinion, not condemning the leak. And then today is the real test to me. What are you going to say about those protesters marching to private homes?
Yeah, this seems to happen a lot to conservatives. During the Trump administration, remember Sarah Sanders was kicked out of a restaurant in Charlottesville. Kirstjen Nielsen was mocked and harassed at a Mexican restaurant, and then her home was protested. I know you ran into problems as well. That this happens by and large when far-left protesters say, we're going to take it personal. And remember what Maxine Waters said, get up in their face.
Yeah, that's right. I had to leave my private home in Florida, unfortunately, amid that summer of unrest. Got a call from the police. I had to leave my apartment in D.C. after the night St. John's Church burned, actually. So, yeah, absolutely. If you're on the right, you've experienced this. I know people on the left have experienced it as well, but I think you're right. It is a problem that we're seeing almost exclusively, at least of late, Trump administration officials and now Supreme Court justices. All
right, Kayleigh McEnany, great of you to spend time with us today. We'll see you again tomorrow on Outnumbered.
Thank you so much, John.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.